Hi, I'm Jose Armenta, and this is your Federal Employee Benefits, where we cover topics aimed at helping FERS federal employees like you make smart financial decisions. Today, we're going to cover a very popular topic, which is which day is the best day for you as a FERS federal employee to retire. Now, there's been many articles written on this, so we're not going to beat a dead horse. This is going to be a no fluff, straight to the point video where we're going to review three main strategies. Okay, so the first strategy we're going to review is the end of the month strategy. Okay, should you retire at the end of the month? What are the pros to doing that? Okay, the second strategy we're going to review is retiring at the end of the pay period. Okay, what's the pro around that strategy? And then finally, which is probably the most popular strategy, is what are the pros to retiring at the end of the year. Okay, so it's gonna be a great video full of a lot of great tips. Now, if you're new here, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any future videos. Okay, let's get started. Okay, so now the first strategy we're gonna review the pros of, again, is retiring at the end of the month. Okay, what are the pros to that? And there's two main pros. The first is that your length of service, okay, when they're calculating your first pension, your length of service is rounded to the nearest whole month. Okay, so if you retire in the middle of the month, you're going to lose those incomplete days or those loose days, right? The incomplete month. So for example, if you retire March 15th and you have 20 years and 4 months of complete service, you're going to get your pension is going to be computed using 20 years and 4 months of service. Those 15 days are going to fall off, okay? Whereas if you retire at the end of the month, okay, at the end of the complete month, okay, you're going to get that full month added to your time of service. Now, the second reason why folks retire at the end of the month is because of when you're entitled to your pension, okay, when your pension start day is. So your pension starts the first full month after you retire. So for example, let's say you retire on March 1st, okay, you retire at the beginning of the month. Your pension, okay, will not start until April 1st, one full month later. So you're going one full month from March to April with no pay, okay, or no pay due to you, okay. Whereas if you retired at the end of March, then let's say March 31st, your pension is due to start April 1st, okay. And so there's going to be no gap between your paycheck and when you do your pension check. Now in practice, right, it takes OPM a while to get your paycheck to you, and in that time you'll have an interim check, but you'll get all of that pay eventually back paid to you. So it's when you're entitled to your pension that counts, okay? So those are two main reasons why folks retire at the end of the month. Okay, now the second strategy that folks use when deciding when to retire is retiring at the end of a pay period, okay? Now there's only one main reason, one main pro to retiring at the end of a pay period. Now that end of the pay period may coincide with one of these other strategies, the end of the month strategy or end of the year strategy, but if you're solely retiring at the end of a pay period that does not coincide with one of these other strategies, there's one main pro to that, okay? And that is leave, okay? Your leave accrues on a pay period basis. And so by making sure that you retire and complete the end of a pay period, you're gonna ensure that you receive that leave for that pay period, right? So if you retire in the middle of a pay period, you're gonna forfeit the leave that you have earned thus up until that point, okay? So a lot of folks will choose a day that falls not only on the end of a month, but also on the end of a pay period, like that, compounding the benefit of the day that you select. And the third and final strategy that federal employees use when selecting the best retirement date is, of course, the most popular one, which is retiring at the end of the year, December 31st. Now, the reason why this is a popular strategy has to do with annual leave, okay? As most of you probably know, most federal employees can only carry over 240 hours of annual leave to the next year, okay? So by retiring at the end of the year, you can maximize your annual leave and maximize that lump sum payment you're going to receive when you retire. Okay, so by retiring on December 31st, you're going to take the leave you accrued this year plus the leave you carried over from the previous year, right? Now, one thing to keep in mind is that OPM's annual leave calendar often is different from the your calendar year. Okay, so you're going to want to check OPM's annual calendar to make sure you know when the cutoff date is and when you would forfeit the annual leave. Okay, so keep that in mind if you're selecting the end of year strategy for that purpose. Now, another reason why retiring at the end of the year is popular has to do with tax planning. Okay, when you work the entire year and you retire December 31st, your taxable income is the same, right? It's the same. It's going to be very similar to the previous year if you didn't have a huge jump in pay or move positions. So your tax year will be similar, okay? But if you retire, let's say earlier in the year, a month earlier, let's say you retired, November, the end of November, you're likely going to receive that lump sum payment for annual leave during that same year. Okay, and if that is the case, if you receive that lump sum payment, that's all taxable income. So it could bump you up into the next tax bracket and you're going to pay taxes at a higher rate. Whereas if you retire December 31st, you're going to receive that lump sum paycheck that's all taxable income and could be a significant amount, few thousand, maybe tens of thousands of dollars. Okay, you could receive that, or you are likely to receive that in the next year. Okay, almost guaranteed to receive that in the next year if you retire on the 31st. Okay, and so you're pushing that income, that what could be a significant amount of income, into the following year where you have some more flexibility, right? You're going to be receiving your pension, maybe the pension supplement, and you're going to be in control of your TSP distributions. And so you have some control over your income, and you can plan around that and plan to not get bumped up into the next tax bracket. So retiring at the end of the year allows you some flexibility when controlling that income, okay? Now, another thing to keep in mind is your age when you retire in regards to your TSP access, okay? Remember that to have access to the TSP without paying that 10% early withdrawal penalty, you have to be at least age 55, okay? Retiring in the year you reach 55. So you don't have to be 55, but you have to retire in the year that you turn 55, okay, to avoid that early withdrawal penalty of 10%. So if you retire, let's say at 54, you're going to have to wait until age 59 to access your TSP penalty free. Okay, so you have to withdraw in the year that you turn 55 or later to make withdrawals and access your TSP penalty free. Okay, so keep that in mind, very important. And those are the three most popular strategies for selecting the best day to retire. Okay, and now the pros again range everything from the accrual of annual leave to access to your TSP. Okay, now but those are all financial reasons. Okay, and there are plenty of non-financial reasons for selecting your retirement date. Okay, and sometimes those are even more important, and it just depends on your situation. There is no one size fits all. For some folks, spending more time with your family, entering retirement sooner can be more important than the financial considerations. So just things to think about. I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, hit that like and subscribe button. That's the best way to support this channel. And until next time, I'm Jose Armenta. Take care.